being black in Boston is very interesting. Walking through Fenway today by myself as a black woman, it felt very interesting. There's some stereotypes of Boston, right? That, it's a racist place and, it's not very tolerant. I mean, yeah, it's true in some instances, and especially places like this where the fans get rowdy, that sports areas are places where they can be a little bit more racist. I mean, it's definitely interesting. Like I said, you got to find your place and find your people, but when you're in those areas that are predominantly white, you don't necessarily feel comfortable.
Complicated.
Being black, you got to pick your spots. Because you know what, when you're white or Caucasian, you can move around in any different pocket and find whatever you want. But when you're a black person of a black race, it's kind of hard because you're not accepted everywhere and you don't feel comfortable everywhere. So you have to kind of, find where you can fit in.
Are you talking about nightlife, or are you talking about like everything?
Everything. Because everything is everything, Like Lauren Hill said, everything reflects on everything. So in the corporate America, higher up you go, the less black you see, That's from high school to college to professional ranks. So you're not going to see that many black people. All the things that they do in the work office, like, Halloween parties, all that stuff, all the festive stuff, it's catered towards white people. The music they play is catered towards white people.
What was your first impression of Boston?
Do I have to answer that truthfully?
Yes, you do.
Jumping into a sea of white. Let me stop.
It was pretty boring, and I wish they had more activities for people of color to engage in.
As an adult, so I went to a really diverse high school, and so I was used to being amongst a lot of different types of people, and then in some classes I was the only one, very rarely though. And so then being in Boston and, seeing that I was the only one more often, it was a little bit shocking, but I think I acclimated to it. I think anyone who's born and raised in Boston starts to be a little bit more used to it. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's such a great city to be in, and when you find your community and your vibe, I think it's a good place to be.
What do you love most about the city?
I love the vibe of the people. Like when you find your people and you're with them in a group. I mean, like these events are everything. Like I love that we have the opportunity to come together as a group and display just like diversity and who we are and be able to express ourselves the way we want to without feeling like we have to be intimidated by something. So I think that's what I love the most. And honestly, it's a clean city. I'm gonna be real. It's a clean ass.
Listen, no shots to New York,
right.
But also shots to dirty.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about the city?
Favorite thing about the city? Besides not your average events, I would definitely have to say I'm a foodie, so I love eating food in the city, for sure.
Ooh, what's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant in the city right now? I'm a sushi guy, so I'm going to go with Empire Sushi.
What's your favorite thing about Boston?
My favorite thing about Boston, I like the small community, and it's kind of like what do you hate most and like most about Boston, but I would say they're one and the same because I do like that it's a smaller community and everyone does know everyone, but that can get real old real quick. So I would say the smaller community.
What's your least favorite thing about Boston?
The racism.
Facts.
It can be kind of elitist at times. And people are expecting you to say, if you're not from Harvard or MIT, then it's like, you get some kind of side eyes. So I went to graduate school at UMass Boston, right, which is a school that caters to mostly, people of color. And they're having their own issues with financial, just like mismanagement. But I went there because one, I wanted to be around other people of color, and I found that education there was great. The teachers cared. But if I say that, people ask me where'd you go to school, and I say UMass Boston, it's like, oh, okay, I feel people are less engaged.
How's the dating scene in Boston? Dun, dun.
How is the dating scene in Boston? Have I found the love of my life? No, I haven't.
How's the dating scene like in Boston?
It's like the dating scene. You go out, meet somebody, holler at them, figure out what you want to do. You want to go out on a date? You want to just keep it simple?
Have you found the love of your life,
Nope.
Anishi? Wait, I didn't get to pass the mic to you.
I find love with nothing.
It's quite interesting. There's not, again, when I say it's a small community, so it's like if you do have friends and you do go out with people, you'll end up kind of running into the same group of, I guess in my experience, the same group of girls, and either like I can't talk to her because that's like because of like my roommate talked to her, and then like oh that other one is actually like my cousin's best friend, and like she's like family.
Okay, what is the dating scene like in Boston? I've been asking everybody this. I'm trying to record the last episode.
Yeah, I have been blessed.
Everyone's finding the loves of their lives. You're not the first one to say I have been blessed, but keep going. Do you think this is a hopeless place?
Wow. There's plenty of movies that agree with that statement for sure. But no, I think you definitely find it out here for sure.
What's one thing you're looking forward to in Boston?
One thing I'm looking forward to in Boston, I just like the fall time. I'm basic.
Okay, so I've actually lived here since 2002 permanently. I can tell you, like, events like this, when I was like in high school, you know, they were really hard to find, you know what I mean? And I think like over the last like 5 or so years, like the people of color in Boston are actually stepping out and throwing more events and just reclaiming their own space. So I'm really excited for the future and what's to come.
The political organization here is something that's always been really inspiring. I feel like given Boston's really kind of messed up history when it comes to race, when I see things like thousands of people coming out to the Boston Common to like really shout out like these small groups of like far right organizations, that gives me hope, and something that a quality that I wish that Boston keeps and even like and grows, you know.